Ooh, what's up, jobbers, and welcome to the latest edition of the Jobber Knocker podcast. As always, Nestlemania alongside for the ride is not JC. We have a suitable replacement here, a man that owes me a favor, if you will. The one and only, the backcracker. The Doc is in the house, folks.
I am happy to be back, but I got to tell you, it's not without a little bit of controversy. Nestle has given me a strict set of rules to abide by. I am not allowed to make any reference to any sort of home appliance. I am not allowed to make any sort of reference to any food chains such as Waffle House. And I am by no means allowed to mention his receding hairline. So
Oof.
I will do my best.
Thank you for getting those out of the way. I appreciate it. That's a true friend. I really appreciate it. Now that we got the business out of the way, probably get into the regular part of the show here. It is what it is. Marcus is in the house. Thank you, Marcus, for always being a supporter of the show. We appreciate it. Marcus does some great stuff. Check him out too. So listen, we've got a lot to talk about. We have AEW Dynasty that happened, whatever. We've got Raw and SmackDown. We've got WrestleMania, and I'm always interested to talk to you, Doc, because JC and I are what we like to label hardcore fans. And I would say you're more than a casual, but you're not a hardcore. You're somewhere in the middle. I just was like, what is Doc right now? What is your temperature in the room when it comes to WrestleMania excitement?
Oh, I'm 6 to midnight. 6 to midnight for WrestleMania, baby. I always am. So it was, I grew up, really being invested in the Attitude Era. And so like for me, that was my prime. That was me every week. I mean, that was hardcore wrestling fandom. And then somewhere in college sort of fell off. So there was a huge, maybe like a 10-year stretch where I don't think I watched wrestling at all. I mean, I missed, Cena's prime, I missed Punk's prime, and so it was WrestleMania probably 15, years ago or so that, I was like, you know what? It's right when the WWE Network was in its infancy. I'll sign up. I'll watch WrestleMania. I'll get back into it, and really haven't looked back since. So, WrestleMania for me has always been like the thing I enjoy the most. I love the build up. I love post Mania. I always love that Raw, after Mania. So, I think they've done a really good job the past 2 months, really building up to this particular Mania, and so I'm rock hard, and I can't wait for it.
That's awesome. I'm excited for you to enjoy it. So I figure we'll start. I'll drive the seat. I can't believe I'm going to Mr. Positivity here. I'll try because we do it always in the shine. But since JC's not here, I guess I should drive the ship a little differently this week. So the favor, as a lot of people were talking about. A lot of people were surprised. A lot of people weren't surprised. Heyman is going to corner Punk at WrestleMania. Roman didn't think that was going to be a possibility. Of course, it's going to be a possibility. He eats a GTS on Friday, sells it like $1 million, and we're off to the races here. Did you think that was kind of where they were headed? Were you surprised? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I wasn't too surprised with it. I mean, it makes sense from a storyline, perspective. I think Heyman has been absolute nails lately. He has been the best part of their programming when it comes to at least to this, particular storyline. The whole, him singing Roman Reigns was absolutely fantastic. But like his acting, his part in all of this, has been excellent. So like from a storytelling standpoint, I think it makes a lot of sense. Because it's now like the smugness from Roman Reigns thinking that Heyman couldn't have an allegiance to anyone but himself, I thought was great. And there's this whole Rollins aspect of it now too. So there's a couple different ways this can go. And I think they did a good job of not painting themselves into a corner by having it be wildly predictable. Like on one hand, yeah, kind of saw this coming, but they could still swerve us and really bring the roof down.
So I was very excited for Friday because Friday felt like it was okay. They started off the program. He wanted to. They built throughout the night saying, whatever the answer is, it's yes. And then Seth comes out, and then they have the whole reveal at the end. And I love that whole aspect of it where it felt to the one night storyline, and then you kick it over on a Monday, and they let it just kind of breathe there for a second because we've been really hard on Seth Rollins on this program overall. I think even JC's been like, we've had this conversation over and over again where Seth Rollins is a terrible babyface, but has one of the best babyface movesets you will ever see. So he's been this weird juxtaposition, but I think in this role where he's kind of like in the middle a little bit, he's got a problem with Punk, he's got a problem with Reigns. It kind of suits him. And I thought Monday night when he had his soliloquy, when he went after Heyman and he started pushing and saying, "How much are you worth?" I just thought that was some of his best work to date. And I thought that he really did a fantastic job. I'm upset that our boy Danny Grimwood's not in the chat because he always has to shit on me when I give Seth Rollins his flowers because he loves him some Seth Rollins. But I just thought just even the whole thing about Roman only uses you for relevancy and uses you to go book his flights and all this shit. And Punk's only using you for the favor. And so when are you going to wake up and smell the roses and the whole thing? Like, so there's a real nice kind of like wrap up they've done so far with it. And then the very end where Punk eats, a stomp from saving, Heyman. And then at the end, Rollins could have stomped in Heyman's head and stops and says, "Now you owe me a favor." I didn't see that coming. And I thought that was such a nice little touch to kind of bring it all around because it's like, okay, well, damn. Like, I assume the favor to me is that he's walking in with Punk, but he might be leaving with Rollins.
Well, that's what they're setting it up with, right? And so that's where I said, like, they haven't painted themselves in a corner here because you've now got 3 people and you've got Heyman could do, at least for now, any one of 3 things, but there could be a 4th thing that we don't see here, right? There's still a very large elephant in the room that could play a role here that Heyman's associated with. Now, whether that person actually comes back or not is to be seen. But like, that's the type of storytelling they've got going on here, where like we could get swerved here, where Heyman doesn't do anything for any one of those guys, and that maybe someone new enters the picture, or who knows. But I'm generally, with you guys, I've been pretty tired of Rollins. Mostly because he comes down looking like a freaking schmuck, every time. And it's like, okay, at some point, I'm like, okay, I don't need Seth Rollins here. But I thought this week in general, some of the promos that we got, Seth Rollins included, was some of the best. And that's why I love the lead up to WrestleMania, because this is when we get, for the most part, we get people at their best, and Rollins was definitely one of them this week.
If you had to have your gun to your head right now, who's winning at the end of WrestleMania Night 1?
It's this match, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Punk.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think he's been on the. I feel like he's due, right?
Okay.
But here's the thing: it's his WrestleMania moment. He gets to close WrestleMania. So I guess him winning would be a little too, storybookish ending. But if I had to pick, that would be my guess.
See, I would agree with you that Punk would be my pick, but then with this new favor with Rollins makes me feel like, because Rollins hasn't. I mean, he beat Punk, but with Roman's help. I'm just curious to see what happens here, because there's just all of these guys have different stories with each other. I assume that we will see Rollins still working throughout the year. I don't know about Punk. It feels like Reigns just kind of will go away and then come back at SummerSlam. It seems like that's kind of like what he does now, unless they need him for a Saudi show. But like, I could see Punk versus, Reigns at SummerSlam. But I think what we're going to get now, regardless, like I would hope if Heyman picks Rollins at the end, that it would be kind of Heyman and Rollins running roughshod and Punk chasing him for a very long time. I think that'd be interesting, because he might have got his moment, but if he doesn't have his best friend at the end of the night, who knows?
Yeah. You're probably right there. But who knows? Maybe we get some classic schmoz and none of these guys win, and then it really pisses us off. And then you go, what the hell was that all that for? That feels very old WWE, not the new Triple H era type, but you never know. I still think there's going to be a massive swerve in this match. I just don't know what it's going to be.
Okay. Anything else, or you want to move on?
Let's keep rolling, baby.
Okay. I get it. Listen, I hate to stick with specifically Rock, but it is recent bias in my head. if Braun Breaker doesn't have the best spear in the entire world ever, I mean, the person that is the next person who has the best spear, I don't know how that's even possible. Like I mean, it was Goldberg for a long time, in my opinion, just a vicious spear. But after last night, I mean, part of it's Carlito, mostly it's Breaker. But man, I have never seen a human being like just launch himself so far as if he was a jaguar and just spear somebody and then flip. It was so athletic, such a freakish thing to do. The dude hasn't even started like really scraping the surface of what he's going to be accomplishing. It's fascinating to me. Like, this dude is a hoss, absolute hoss.
If you're Carlito, how you don't shit your pants when you see that guy running at you full steam. I mean, I watched that a few times, and I saw it first, on the socials before I actually saw it, saw the show. Man, he is hauling ass, right? He is like just guns blazing down that ramp, and the beauty of it, you're right, because Carlito like just does a beautiful job selling it, but still, like, how you could be him and not like see that coming at you and be like, I'm dead. I'm dead. Right. And he just hits him just like a sack of bricks. And then he smokes Dom, in the ring too. That one didn't look as crisp, but still, like, he is a mountain of a man, an absolute unit. I couldn't do it. It's like watching a professional linebacker, run at you and just trying to take your head off. Like, I really, he's not my hope, but he could be. I want to see your Breaker at some point lose the Intercontinental title and get into the main title picture. Whether he's ready for it or not, he looks and feels the part as a world champion.
Do you think it's too soon though? Like, I feel like he's got a lot of.
I don't care if it's too soon. He is just, he's got that presence, right? Like, I know he's got there's certain aspects of, promos and shit like that he's got to work on, but like, dude, that guy walking around with the big boy strap, like, that just screams. He just screams world title holder.
All right, that's high praise, because there's a lot of people who are pretenders for sure. So I mean,
yeah, I mean, that's what the Intercontinental belt is, right? It's supposed to be that stepping stone to the big show. I mean, we've seen lots of people, hold that belt, and they just get it because, like, you deserve it or whatever the hell it is. But like, I feel like there's a presence to him now. The field is crowded, for sure. And it's probably a matter of like, he's just got to, wait his time. But like, I would love nothing more than to see him, with one of the big titles. Like, he's just, I don't know. There's something about him. He's just friggin' awesome.
All right. Let's see. Anything else that you wanted? I mean, it's your turn if you'd like. If there's anything positive that you're really excited about this week.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll Ray Phoenix and Nathan Fraser, right? I thought that was a great match. You know what? This is what I want to do. I have a major mea culpa. Major mea culpa. Last time I was on this program, Nestle, I believe I had said I am sick of the bloodline. Get them out of my face. I am tired. It's been years of the bloodline. Get them out of here. Get them off my TV. Get them off my TV. Get them off my TV. Well, I was wrong. I was stupid. And I got to tell you, I love Fatu. I think he's an absolute animal. The Roman Reigns story that's going on, we talked about there. I love it. So I mean, I think what it boils down to, I don't like Solo. Something about him, I don't. You get him off my TV. I don't need him. But there's some people that'll scream, mid-card Jey Uso, wrong, right? He's been dynamite, and I thought his promo, we talked about awesome promos. I thought that was the best promo he has ever given. And that segment with him and Gunther, I really loved. I don't think Gunther said a goddamn word. And you could see it in his face. Like, again, that was like, we're getting some of these people's best work. Gunther didn't say anything, but you could feel like, oh, maybe there is a little bit of like you're seeing a little crack in the armor there of Gunther, because there was times his facial expression sort of gave away like looked like a little bit of nervousness, because Jay brought something that he's been emotional before, but there was something about him being sort of talking about his insecurities, right? And the way and then he said, I'm no longer, afraid. Like, I don't know, that hit. I think that was very relatable to a lot of people. And he was already wildly popular. But I thought that was some of his best work. So like where I said last time I was on, I'm done. I don't need no, I was wrong, except for Solo. I don't like Solo. I think he stinks. Get him off my TV. But everyone else, I just and the one thing I wish they didn't do was Cole had mentioned the red tie that Gunther was wearing. Like, I knew it when I saw it. I didn't need them to spoon feed it to me. I wish they like hadn't mentioned it, because Jimmy, being on the red brand and stuff. It was like I got the symbolism. I didn't need it spoon fed to me. I wish they didn't do that and just sort of let me, as the person watching the product, make my own inferences and come to that conclusion myself.
That's fair enough. I will, when I go back to the Jey Uso promo, there were a lot of things that were very different, right? He came out, he did not yeet. He did not have colorful attire. Everything was black. Yeah. And I think this is the difference. And then I always relate back to Daniel Bryan. Everybody would say, oh, all Daniel Bryan is a yes chant. And like anybody can do the yes chant. But I go back to when Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt were facing each other and he slowed down the yes chant in front of that steel cage. And the crowd went with him. And then he brought them back together to go faster and faster. He controlled that chant because it's his. When I watched Jey Uso, or Josh, it was his real name, when he told them, no, calm down, I'm trying to make a point. And eventually they stopped eating and they bought into it. I was like, that right there, regardless of whatever he does in this world, is a hard thing to do. You are asking people to take the momentum away and still stick with you. And he did it. And I think that's a real testament to how popular he really is. And you could see him working himself up into tears and working himself up because this is his brother, his family, his mother he was talking about and all that shit. And so like that hits home for anybody, because anybody has a mother, anybody, most people have a sibling or, somebody that's close to them they consider a sibling. And the way that Jay had to watch his brother get beaten to a pulp the week prior is tough for anybody. So to watch him go back and say all those things. And then that one line at the very, very end, which I thought was just like, oh my God, like this was like, oof, for me, because I'm a promo guy. I love promos. When he said, when you lay your head down, he's like, I'm going to say a prayer for me because the person I'm going to become, I'm going to whoop your ass. I'm going to pray that, you're going to end up, getting pretty hurt or whatever. And like, I just thought like, what a fucking line. Like what a way to just send it into, I'm no longer scared. I'm scared of the person I'm going to be come WrestleMania. So I have a feeling in my brain and my heart and soul that this is going to kick off one of the nights. It has to. I feel like maybe night 2, like that's a good way to get everybody just kind of feeling it. Especially, well, maybe it'll be night 1. I don't know. I just feel like that is you send him out, you let him have as long of an entrance as you want, and you just let him fucking cook. And I just think we already know it's kind of a foregone conclusion he's going to win, but like, it's still going to be a crazy moment. Like there's something special about that moment. That's once we see it. There's also a lot of people online that are thinking it'd be a really nice crossover if, night 1 is the Roman Reigns thing. And then, so night 2, before Jay comes out, Roman and Jay have that moment together where he's like, this is you, buddy. This is your time. I had my time. This is your time. I think that would be a really cool moment too, but maybe we don't need Roman. I don't know. It's so fascinating. It's so fascinating that I would have never predicted in my wildest dreams that Jey Uso, a tag team wrestler, perennial tag team wrestler, is now in the hunt. And it's crazy.
Yeah. He's the most popular wrestler on the planet, for Pete's sake. Right. And, I to go back to, what you're talking about, I mean, that's what, that was what I meant by relatable. Like you got to think about, what the audience is made up of, right? And outside of maybe the first few rows, where you've got your ballers and your shot callers, right? Wrestling has been, and I think always will be, right? Predominantly like the people feeling like they're the underdog, right? And the blue collar, kind of, person. And so, we all love a heel. We all love to boo someone, but I also think at the end of the day, we all love an underdog, right? And to sort of see Jey Uso sort of transition and go from where he started, and albeit very successfully, but now taking it to that next level. I think that's where the popularity is. People like can see themselves in Jey Uso, and he has to start the night because it's going to absolutely just bring the roof down, right? That entrance alone, whether he wins or not, that entrance alone is going to be absolutely electric. So I would love to start WrestleMania off that way, and then and cap it with whatever the Roman Reigns things is, because if he loses, if Jay wins and Roman loses, that's a great sort of juxtaposition, sort of thing. So that's what I would like to see.
Okay, fair enough. The one thing I will say before we move on, I am a little bit nervous once he wins. What happens next? Like you get to the journey, you get to the mountaintop, and it's like, yeah, how long we got this for? So
about 30 seconds.
I would hope, right? Like he screams getting cashed in on, right? Like in my head, like
100%. He's probably got that thing till SummerSlam. You know,
it's gonna be a quick one. I mean, for sure. I can foresee a lot of people coming for him. So
yeah. Quick ones are usually how you end up with twins.
That's true. Yeah. I might not have a lot of fun, but I had fun once. So there you go.
That's right. That's right. Oh.
Anything else that you got? That's how. Threw me off my game a little bit with that comment.
Well, that's what I do. That's what I try and do each and every week in the chat.
Yeah.
If I can get you to actually read it before you've, say it before you've read it. Then
I will say this much. Our mutual friend that is also the co-host says to me off air, he's like, don't read his stuff, please. And I say, why? And he goes, he just gets under your skin. He throws off the show. I'm like, but some of it's really funny. He's like, I know, but you can't. And I was like, but I can.
That's the challenge. That's the challenge. Yeah. If I can do that, I know it's been a successful night.
You get to me.
Yeah. No, those were some of my real quick. I love El Grande America.
I was about to say, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That is just, I mean, I don't think there's any better wrestler for that gimmick than him, because Chad Gable's always been a bit of a nerd. And it's that Kurt Angle in him that I think just pulls this off so well.
I always laugh at the music. Like, to me, the music with the mariachi song with I don't even know what it's called, but it's the old Lex Luger song. And every time I hear it, it just cracks me the fuck up. And then just the way he if you go back and you watch that entrance, Ivy Nile is biting her lip so hard, trying not to laugh, because he's just like going around doing God knows what. And he's from the Gulf of America, which I mean, how do you not laugh at that? Right. So it's just, but it's funny. I mean, even I hate 6-man tags. We've talked about this on the program. Everybody knows I'm allergic to them
a few times,
but by golly, was this just it was like watching people on a trampoline. I felt like it was a Circus Soleil. It was like watching that triple step from Joaquin Wilde to the outside. I was just like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen that in my life. It's too bad nobody will care, but man, that was cool.
Yeah. that was a fun match for sure. I giggle every time. And I love too. McAfee was great. He's like, oh yeah, Chad Gable's got the sniffles.
Yeah. I laughed really hard when it's over, when the crowd, I mean, obviously it was his hometown, so it's fine. But when the crowd's chanting that's Chad Gable, no, it's not. I was just like, this is too much even for me. So I love it. I'm curious what happens at WrestleMania. A lot of people think that Rey Mysterio is going to embarrass him. I personally believe if you go back to what Chad Gable had to deal with in order for this to work, I personally think it makes more sense for El Grande Americano to win the match and then get revealed as Chad. I think that'd be funnier.
Yeah.
But
Oh, could you imagine the pop he'd get if he wins that match?
Oh yeah.
Right. It's just going to be absolutely wild. So, but
yeah,
I mean, it's setting up right where, where Ray's going to win and all that. But I hope that's not the case because I want to keep this thing going for as long as humanly possible.
I mean, they struck gold. I don't know why, but they did. I didn't know if I was going to like it. I was honestly very, very nervous. I'll be completely honest with you, but it's tough. It's very, very tough.
Yeah.
Anything?
Well, I think people need the humor from it, considering. And again, like I said, Gable's a perfect person to do it. Anyone else couldn't pull this off.
No. Absolutely not. Is there anything else? Or I'm just going to do some quick stuff if you're good.
No, I'm good, baby.
Okay, we're moving on. So we talked about Phoenix. We didn't really get into Phoenix, but it was a big deal for everybody to see Phoenix. The presentation was very cool. Let's see what else we got here. I thought McIntyre with an eye patch just fucking. You want to talk about 6 to midnight? When I saw the eye patch, I was like, can this guy get any cooler? And then he had and so I'm sitting there thinking, how many Escape from New York references can I make? How many things can I say? It's amazing. So, are you getting distracted by somebody?
I am, but that's okay. She's the best.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved it. There's a famous picture of me in my Gary Busey era with an eye patch where I actually had a spider fall in my eye. It was actually quite disgusting.
Oh no.
But it was absolutely fantastic. I'm not the biggest Drew McIntyre guy, but I enjoyed that segment.
I just think they're doing a lot of good stuff, and I think McIntyre does a lot of great stuff as well. And so as we keep going, I will say this much. I really enjoyed watching certain portions of this, watching Jade and then B-Fab and that whole thing. And then Naomi gets the win on the jobber alert and then Jade beating the shit out of her. I just thought it was so much fun to see that. I think Naomi's really coming to her own here. I'm curious to see how the match is. Again, I'm not holding my breath when it comes to Jade. I think Jade is what she is. But I think Naomi's deserved this. I would hope Naomi wins, but I just don't see that happening. But yeah. I love the idea of it. But.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, you got to think she's a worker, right? And I don't want to say considering her, relationship, but like she works her ass off. But man, Jade, again, she's sort of got that thing that Braun has, right? She's an absolute unit, right? And when she's out there, like there's a magnetism there, right? Like she's just built different, right, than any other, of the women competitors out there. And so I think, the crowd's behind her, right? They go nuts, and she's out there, and she's almost got this Steve Austin thing where she's just kicking everyone's ass that gets in her way, right? And that's another thing that people relate to. So I can't imagine Jade not winning. And personally, I would like to see her win, but like I'm not the biggest Naomi fan, but she has been doing, I think, a really good job in this storyline, selling everything, acting the work she's been putting in. This is, again, probably some of her best work ever.
I agree 100%. I don't think there's anything else I'm going to say, so I'm going to go right to the heat. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. There's a lot to talk about, I guess, if we really want to be nitpicky, but there's one particular thing that I didn't really enjoy, and I'm guessing based on you not bringing it up, I didn't like the beginning of Raw with this triple threat contract signing. I am so done with this feud. I know the match will be fine. We've talked about this week after week after week, but watching them there's something about Belair that like the whining is fine. I get it, but it's just like, I get what they're trying to do here. And then as I'm watching it, I just feel like I'm just not interested. Like, I don't know what it is. I've tried to describe it. I think it's just not clicking for me. So I've just immediately decided that I will just watch it at Mania, enjoy it, and move on.
I will say Belair, it was very beneath her, I think, in her character to be whiny, right? And it was very off-putting. Because again, she's supposed to be the baddest, right? Not the whiniest. And again, she's a force, right? Act it, right? You say you earned it, by whooping ass at the Elimination Chamber, then don't just take Rhea Ripley being added to that match, lying down. Don't whine about it. I hate contract signings in general. I think they're dumb. I've always hated them. I've always thought they were just pointless. I thought Io was probably the best thing here. That little surprise attack she had there, jumping off the ropes and knocking Rhea into Bianca. But like, what's the point? We don't care. Just announce that Rhea's. We all knew that Rhea was going to be in the goddamn match anyways. Just announce it. It would have been better off as just some sort of announcement. I get it. It's the pageantry of Mania, so you want to do all the pomp and circumstance and all that. But yeah, it wasn't. Not my cup of tea, dog.
And then moving on, unfortunately, the women are in the heat this week again. But
oh boy, yeah,
Charlotte and Tiffy's promo. Whether you believe what you read or what you think on your own, what a clusterfuck this was. Like,
yeah, this not good.
I mean, so here's the thing. I'm sure that Charlotte Flair is a great human being to the people that are nice to her and her family and her friends. I'm sure she's a wonderful human being. I'm sure she's going through a rough time. I've been told she can be kind of a bitch. I'm sure everybody can be. But as I was watching this in my head, all I could think about was they probably look at her backstage and go, it's better having her in the castle pissing out than outside the castle pissing in. Like, that's what it is with her. It's like she's too good. You can't let her go. And she's too good not to be used, but man, does she only care about herself. And I feel like these last couple of weeks, it's been so apparent to me that this is not working. And then when you watch Tiffany, and I mean, Tiffany, I don't know if Tiffany had those in the chamber because of what happened last week or if somebody fed them to her. But when she said, you're going to be lonely and 0-3 like you are with your divorces and your marriage or whatever, I was like, oh, like, and then, what's a telltale sign when shit isn't going to go well and it wasn't planned is when she just like dropped and rolled out of the ring. I'm like, okay, this seems like this was going to get even worse. So, and they cued the music at an odd time. And I was just like, at what point does somebody step in and go, enough already? Like, can you be professional about it, both of you? Like, come on. Like, but some people like a train wreck. So maybe it's fine. I have zero hope in my mind that this match is going to deliver the way that it could deliver in my expectation.
Yeah, no, you know how I feel about the shoveler. And I ever since she's been back, she has not had her fastball, right? And I was thinking about this earlier, right? The women's division at one point in time, she was the top of it, right? And then Becky took over, and then now you've got, I think now Rhea really is at the top of it. But like the women's division, I think is so strong. They didn't miss Charlotte when she was gone. They don't need her now, right? And nobody was clamoring. I think people are like, when is Charlotte coming back for the sake of like, oh, she's been gone for a while. Is everything okay? When is she coming back? But the women's division doesn't need Charlotte. Charlotte needs the women's division. And, I think they probably went into this promo because chances are they probably don't like each other. But they probably, when workshopping this, was probably like, I wonder if it was more of like a loose, like, yeah, go out there, sort of be confrontational. Here are some things. It might not have. This feels like it wasn't something that was like perfectly scripted out and planned, like line by line. This was probably like, okay, Charlotte, you go out and here's some things that you can do. Tiffy, go out. And then at some point, it felt like it became personal. That's when it went off the rails. And so like whether like it was completely unscripted or if it was just loosely scripted, like I feel like it was probably just a loosely scripted thing, and then one person took it too far, the other person or someone took it too personal, and then they just said fuck, right? Yeah. This is not working. So like that That was bad. And this is like Charlotte sort of looking like, that athlete that's hanging on, that's past their prime. And it's just not going great. And Charlotte could leave tomorrow. You could have this match scrapped from WrestleMania, and no one, I don't think, would care. It might even be better for the program not to have this match on there, because I can't imagine. I hate to say it, but it's probably going to be a bathroom break.
Probably
kind of match.
I wouldn't doubt it. Absolutely. I mean, I'm curious what other people think. I mean, maybe it's just me, but like, if people are saying that this was, scripted and everything was the way it was supposed to be, I'd be like, wow, okay. Like, if that's your good idea of television, all right. Like, got a thing to tell you, pal. But whatever. The other thing that just crossed my mind, I might be wrong, and I'm curious on your notes. I don't think Cody Rhodes was on Friday or Monday. I mean, I saw packages, but I don't think he was there. Was he?
I don't think so. You're
Which
right.
is weird to me.
They did a lot of packaging, right? But yeah, he wasn't there Friday, because that was Roman. That was the big one, was Roman, Punk, and Rollins, and he definitely wasn't there on Raw. Yeah, I don't think he was there. Nope.
I'm curious for you, like, JC every week is waxing poetic about Cody Rhodes and all that stuff. So it's nice to have somebody that isn't just on somebody's jockstrap. I'm curious your thoughts on the Cena Cody Rhodes feud going into WrestleMania. Was it when you saw the heel turn, all that stuff? Like, what exactly went through your mind? And like, is this a banner match for you when you watch on Saturday or Sunday?
Well, I'll tell you, the heel turn was one of those, I think, iconic wrestling moments. Like, where were you when, HBK, Chin Music, Jannetty, right? Like, there's these seminal moments, and like with Cena being Cena for who he was for so long, him turning heel, like, you're not going to forget that. You'll look back at that 10, 15, 20 years from now and be like, oh yeah, I remember when Cena turned heel. So that really changed things. That changed the dynamic. And I think for me, I'm a huge Cody Rhodes fan as well, but I think there was a bit of a plateau there for a while. And then with that heel turn and then their promo together the other week, again, that was excellent. That was excellent. That was Cena at the top of his game. I mean, he hasn't been there. You've been doing it for such a long time. And the spots where we've gotten him over the past few years, it's just been, okay, here's your quick Cena moment kind of thing. And, wash, rinse, and repeat. So like, what he brought as a heel, I thought was electric. And then I thought Cody's response was absolute fire, super hot fire. As one Joshua Canoe, who the bleep is Josh, would say. So I love it. I am very much looking forward, to this match. Again, right? It's the past month where things have really ramped up. We're seeing people at their best, and I think Cody has some extra juice behind him now. And I think having Cena like has elevated Cody, because if you can't go toe to toe with Cena at this point, you're cooked, right? And so him going to a different level has forced Cody to go to a different level. So I think this is going to be a hell of a match. I want to say Cena wins, because like there's the record and all that, and I think they probably want to toss him the belt one last time, during his farewell tour. But like, if he loses, I'm not going to be like, fuck, god damn it, Cena didn't win, because there'll be other opportunities. But like, I don't know. I'm very, again, there's going to be some really great matches at WrestleMania. This is hands down going to be one of them. From a technical point of view, I don't know if Cena can match Rhodes in the ring. Rhodes is going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting there. But from a storytelling point of view and from promo point of view, those two have been excellent.
I mean, there's still The Rock could show up. You think Travis Scott could get his receipt from Cody?
That would be something.
I mean, it's WrestleMania. Might as well take a bump or two. And then to me, I mean, I wanted this last year. So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm an Austin guy, but I mean, last year, I would have replaced the Undertaker with Austin. I think that would have been the big miss there. And I think this year being in Las Vegas, and he lives in Las Vegas now in a ranch, and so he's going to be there on the weekend anyway. You can't not see the glass shatter. I feel like if we even I would be okay even if we repeated kind of the last 5 minutes of last year where all this shit's going down and then the fucking glass breaks and it's just like watching 80 to 100,000 people just lose their fucking mind with Stone Cold Steve Austin come out and just if he can. Here's the thing. As much as I'm not a Rock guy, as much as I'm not an Austin guy, like they're not my guys. I still love them, but they're not my guys. I think at this point in our life, this is the best chance to get one last stunner from the Rock to the Rock with him doing the fucking hand sprint and like flipping into the ropes and shit. Like that has to happen one more time. And I think that, and then I think watching Cena eat a fucking stunner would be fucking funny too. I think too. So if that happens, I'm going to be a happy boy, but I don't know. I think Cody Rhodes is probably going to win, which makes sense because here's my thought, right? John Cena wins, then what? Right? Like, I think there's no redemption story if he becomes champion. I think he's resorting to this to try to win and then fails and then realizes his error of his ways and then tries to win it the right way. I think that's the way to go. But who knows? I mean, it's a fascinating story. It's a fascinating thing because we're getting, I mean, what is it? 8 more months left and he's not going to be here every week. So
yeah. And
I assume he's not wrestling on Raw or SmackDown. So it's really like the dude's got probably maybe 6 more matches left in him, maybe 8, so and they're going to protect him. They're going to protect him all the way to the end. So,
and what would that do to Cody's legacy or in back-to-back Manias? He needs legends to bail him out.
Yeah.
Right. Because you telling me that having Stone Cold come down and stun the Rock and watch those $1 million loafers go flying into the stands, that would take me back, to 1998, all over again, which I would pop like you wouldn't believe.
Right. So we'll see. I think that needs to happen. But anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that was really bad this week that you didn't get to talk about. But if we can,
the War Raiders a New Day.
Okay.
Cock. Oh God! That was a literal bathroom break for me. And what else was there? Was there anything else? No, I mean, like I said, there wasn't a ton of heaty stuff. But yeah, that Tiffy Charlotte thing was really the biggest yikes.
Yeah. So it's interesting you say that because it's my hope. I'll do my hope here. You're my only hope, right? Glorious, as we say here on the program. But I was thinking about this, right? As I was watching, this whole Tiffy and Charlotte thing kind of unravel with the promo and getting the amount of booze that Charlotte had. And I wouldn't say it rattled her, but she definitely paused a couple times. She was getting nuclear heat, like to the point of Dom Mysterio or somebody else that gets a lot of booze. And that made me think, because at the end of the promo, when Tiffy rolled out of the ring, she said, "Is that why Kaiser's in my DMs?" And I was just like, ugh. And then, of course, so here's my thought. Here's my hope. I think this would be interesting if we have to keep this rolling. Hope to God we don't. But if we live in a world where this continues, I was sitting here thinking to myself, what if we had a matchup where we had Tiffy and Ludwig Kaiser on one side, Charlotte Flair and Logan Paul?
Oh,
because if you go back a couple of weeks, even if it was a joke, Ludwig got hot at Logan Paul talking to Tiffy saying he would help her out and show her how to wrestle and stuff. Even if so you can connect those dots together. And Logan Paul's booze, Charlotte's booze against Tiffy and Kaiser. I think that would be so much fun. You could do that for like Saturday night's main event if you wanted to. You don't have to put it out on a PLE or anything like that. But like when I was thinking about that the other day, I was like, oh, there's some connective tissue that I wouldn't mind seeing.
Oh, that would be absolutely nuclear heat. Holy shit, would I hate that match. Just like, oh right. God, it would go right up my chute. Yeah. Because like I hate Logan Paul. I will admit, like in the ring, he's a lot better, right? He's decent, right? And he's exactly what you want in a heel. Like he lives and breathes being that detestable sack of, and God, I hate him, and I can't stand Charlotte, right? So, like, yeah, I would hate watch that match until the cows came home.
We'll see what happens. I doubt they have the balls to do it. Personally, I think they're gonna change course right after WrestleMania. But man, that was right front and center of my brain when I watched that. I was like, let's do this fucking. But they'll never give me the book, so it's fine. So.
Yeah. Well, they gave it to Freddie Prinze Jr. I don't see why they can't give it to you.
Right? Well, Freddie Prinze Jr. had teaching people how to act, so at least Freddie Prinze Jr. knows how to act apparently. So
yeah, apparently.
Hey, you know what? He pulled Sarah Michelle Gellar, so
good for him, right? Holy smokes, yeah.
So I mean, I'm a Buffy fan, so good for him. So it is what it is. Do you have a hope?
I do have a hope. It's a basic bitch hope, but that's okay. I want the Lucha Bros together. I want them with the belts now. The current occupants of either of the tag belts. Get a pair of those straps on the Lucha Bros and have them wreak havoc. They are fun as hell to watch. I am so pumped. When Penta's debut was absolutely electric, and then Ray Phoenix making his on Friday, like that was a great match. With him and Nathan Fraser. Although I believe Mr. Fraser botched a suicide dive. That was that was a little terrifying to watch. But yeah, give them the belts, man. Right? I don't care that they just got here. Like, do it now. I think they would really help make a comatose tag division a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, I can see them in tag matches where there's TLCs. I can see them in steel cage matches. Like, you can see them doing some fucking cool shit and doing something that is absolutely electric. Like you said, I think that is the shot of adrenaline in the arm that tag division on either side, like you said, needs. I think SmackDown's okay. Raw is dormant. I mean, that is a tough tag division right now. So maybe, I don't know. They're on different shows right now, but we also have a draft coming up. So we'll see. I imagine that they'll probably switch shows. We'll see.
Yeah. I love the concept of the draft because, like, at the end of the day, does it really friggin' matter?
No. Right? No. I don't think it's ever mattered, honestly. I mean, like, when it starts, you kind of sit there and you think, oh yeah, it matters. It doesn't matter. And it is what it is.
Not one bit.
It is what it is. All right, so don't call it a comeback. She's been here for years. She's actually also new. I'm going to give the match of Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley my comeback this week because a lot of people call this an instant classic. I'm a little rough around the edges when it comes to giving people credit. So I'm going to say it's not an instant classic in my head because here's the thing. Sometimes wrestling's very much a used car salesman, hyperbolic, like, hey, this is the greatest thing you see. Like, WrestleMania is the greatest WrestleMania until next year. You know what I mean? So, like, they're trying to sell you on it. And I think they wanted to make this feel like it was a special thing. I probably won't remember this match ever. Like, I won't be sitting here going, oh, that's on my dance card for best match of the year. It's not. However, I will say, I thought this was the best outing for Lyra in a very long time. She's getting the momentum she needs. Last week was a really crappy promo, so I'm glad that this week that they gave her some time to show off her wrestling skills. Watching her kind of save Bayley, who I feel like, as much as I love Bayley and I would love to hang out with her, she seems like a cool person. I just feel like lately the Bayley I'm watching on my TV feels like there's something missing. Like there's just, I don't know if she's in this weird player coach scenario. I don't know if she just doesn't know who she is. I don't know if she's getting the opportunity she wants, but it just feels like Bayley's not there. But this week was a very enjoyable matchup, but I think I want to lean on more that Lyra and Bayley together did a fantastic job. I don't know if it's an instant classic. I don't know how you felt about it, but it was a damn good match.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Nakamura, Sami Zayn, right? NXT, right? It wasn't it's not going to be one of Doc's 5-star matches of the year, but it was a good match. I like both those wrestlers. I think I don't want to say like Bayley's mailing it in, but like there's probably something like, is she really being challenged? Is she being utilized? Is she going to be like all in, because she's accomplished, so much, but like it was a good match. I really do like Lyra. The only thing I don't like is I like the name, right? Lyra Valkyria, right? If you went like Lyra Valkyra and had it like somewhat kind of rhyme, like that area at the end, like I don't know. Every time I hear it, I'm like, fucking fix it. Doesn't sound right. But I think she's great. I enjoyed the match, very much. My comeback. So I had a mea culpa earlier where, the last time I was on the program, I mentioned I said something really stupid. I don't like being in the business, Nestle, of agreeing with you.
You're gonna give me the
complimenting you.
All right.
But I have to congratulate you, which again just gives me all the icks. I want to congratulate you, Billie Jean King, for getting your own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame this week. There's a Photoshop I could send out there, or a picture I came across where you are sitting glowingly, you are beaming even with your star. I've never seen you more radiant. Even after the birth of your own children, you didn't look this radiant. But congratulations, my friend. Well-earned star on the Walk of Fame.
I got nothing. I mean, you come out here and you say things like I'm Billie Jean King every single time you can help it.
Well, look at their shoulder pads. I mean,
they're not shoulder pads.
Straight from that, you don't have. There's not a broad shoulder on you.
You're gonna tell me yours is not shoulder pads?
This is a $60 jacket I bought on Amazon. Of course, it's got shoulder pads in it.
This is probably $30 from Amazon, so I've got you beating the cheap department. Yours is a Masters knockoff. Mine's just probably something made out of China. I mean, I don't even really have a real pocket in the pocket square here, like it's just a fake pocket. But it is what it is. Pockets. That's true. That don't call me Nestle pockets. But listen, there's one thing I will say is I am very close to winning. Knock on wood here. Somewhere. The predictions.
Braggart.
We're close. It's wire to wire. Nestlemania going from WrestleMania to be a full 3. I think I've won 3 of these wrestling predictions so far. If I win this WrestleMania, so it's me and Daniel Grimwood. It's down to me and him. JC is probably officially out. He's like 6 back now. So unless I have a complete faux pas with NXT takeovers and WrestleMania, I think it's a sailing ahead for one of Daniel or myself. But man,
this is why nobody likes you.
Well, that's true. Listen. I'll say this much: I actually sleep well at night when people hate me. So if you liked me, I wouldn't know what to do with it. So it's perfectly fine. I know I've made it when everybody hates me, so it's perfectly okay by me. That's what I say.
You gotta tell yourself, sweetheart.
I sleep just fine, and I sleep like this. Hate. I don't care. You want to know why? Because I wake up every day and listen, in the words of my father, you know why I can't wait for tomorrow? Because I get better looking every day.
Oh,
there you go. There you go. You can use that one too.
I think the glue that you're using to keep that hairpiece on is
there you go.
Your brain. Yeah.
Yeah. Super glue. Yeah. Maybe some Gorilla Glue.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it's a lot to get excited about with WrestleMania, as we've talked about. I think we're good. We did your comeback. We did my comeback. I think it's time to get to the big old finish. This is the part of the show where we talk about AEW and other things that are going on. I'm gonna say what I have to say here about Dynasty. I didn't watch Dynasty. I did not pay for it. I'll say that much. But there is a lot going on here. And there's a couple of things. First off, the Young Bucks have returned, which to me is like, okay, good. The Young Bucks are back. I don't love the Death Rider storyline. I haven't from the beginning. So I've been really cognizant of just trying not to shit on it every week. But I feel like this was the moment that Swerve probably should have won and didn't. You could tell a collective groan from the crowd when Moxley won. Yeah, exactly. And I feel like Moxley watched Roman Reigns as a tribal chief and was like, I could do that. And they're like, okay, cool. You can do that. Because no one's going to stand up to him. But like, I just don't believe. Here's the thing. It's not going to be Edge. It's clearly not Swerve.
Copeland. Come on.
Whatever.
Get it right.
Here's the thing. I still am holding out hope. I can't believe I got to wait this long in July. But I am still holding out hope that Billy Goat, Willie Ospreay is the guy to do it. Because I think if you look at that guy, there's no holes in his game and everybody loves him. So I feel like that's it. Like it might be too little too late because he was red hot. And now I feel like maybe, I wouldn't say he's on the downslope, but he's definitely not on the incline here. And so I'm a little nervous. There's also a train of thought in my head that if, Darby Allin actually survives Mount Everest, that maybe they'll be like, he survived Mount Everest, so he can beat John Moxley now. I don't know. We'll see.
Why Moxley is the guy and not Ospreay, right? Like, there's many reasons why AEW stinks. They just don't know what the hell they're doing. Although they've got Toni Storm and her dumper, and she is tremendous. No, but all jokes aside, like, she's tremendous. Like, her promos, like, everything about it, like, she's the best thing that AEW has by a long shot.
You're right though. She really is the best. I mean, I'll say a quick moment here about I am intrigued with anything that MJF does. So anytime I see him,
I will say, MJF is
he's a quick second for me. But even like him not on the pay-per-view, in my opinion, on Sunday was a travesty. Of course, he interfered and was like, "We hurt people" in the crowd and stuff, which I thought was funny and goofy. But like, I feel like there's a standstill there with him where he's just like, I want my championship, but he's not really going after it. So it's a little bizarre to me. And he's not in the Owen Hart Memorial Cup Championship tournament here. So I just feel like a lot of it's just lining up. I don't know. There's a lot of things going wrong. And I tune in every Wednesday hoping to be excited and pleasantly surprised. There are fragments of things that are right, for sure. But that's 15% of the program.
Yeah.
And it's so tough. And I didn't even bother with the rest of Dynasty. I should probably look up Dynasty very quickly so I can piss right through it. But as I'm looking at this, right? So JC would be very excited that FTR turned on Cope. So that's a highlight, I would say. That's an amazing thing. Obviously, Will Ospreay. I like Kevin Knight. He's somebody you should start watching. I don't know if you know about him, but he just started and they just signed him. So really good up and comer. Hurt Syndicate beat Big Bill, and who cares? Mercedes obviously had to win. Death Riders, fuck, I hate Death Riders. You said Tony. Kyle Fletcher, who cares about Mark Briscoe? Like, this is the thing. And then it's like Bandito and name redacted because we can't talk about him. Adam Cole, is it too little too late for him? Kenny Omega is always a star. Ricochet and Mike Bailey I like, so it's like, that's cool, but like, it's Kenny Omega. Right. So it's like, we're just waiting for Kenny Omega to face Okada in July. So I feel like we're in this like ridiculous holding pattern to get all these great matches till July. It's fucking April.
Yeah. Bump that shit up. Bump that shit. AEW, you need to bump that shit up. You can't afford to keep dilly-dallying, right? And putting these things off, right? Get them on your TV and get them on yesterday.
I don't know. It's a tough watch for a lot of people. And I don't have the answer, obviously, but it's so interesting to me that I think somebody asked in the scrum on Sunday night, they said, like, how do you react to negative comments? You see a lot of people being negative about the Death Riders. Are you going to change course and stuff? And he's like, I'm very much aware of the negativity, but it doesn't change what we're going to do. And I was just like, oof. But basically you're saying you don't listen to your audience in some form. I'm sure you listen to your audience. I mean, he's a fanboy, so I assume he listens to some of the audience. But I think he just sits there and he just kisses John Moxley's ass because, like, I don't know if you remember this, but like, this is probably before you started watching again. But like, JC and I used to always joke when Moxley was Dean Ambrose, he used to have this like Three Stooges feeling where he was like, whoop, 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 when he would do that weird like clothesline thing and just like act like a buffoon. And like, to me, there's just you can put whatever you want on him. You can strip him down and put him down in jeans and make him, shave his head and shit and call him whatever you want. But like, he's still that whoop, 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 whoop to me every time I see him. So you can't get away from that. So AEW to me, especially Swerve to me is like right there, like star, right? So like, I don't know what you do with him now. So it's a tough watch going through. I think next week we've got a couple of things. I think AJ Styles is taking on Karrion Kross. That's interesting.
Oh, the two bad haircuts going off against each other.
Yeah, I think there's some other stuff. I'm not technically prepared. This is where JC is going to tell me I'm terrible, but like this is the go home. This next week is the go home for Mania. So I feel like Friday night is going to be a lot of shoehorning in a lot of things that we're not going to see in Mania. So that seems like kind of I don't have to watch it. I'm not necessarily excited for the Hall of Fame this year. So, I'll probably see some clips. And if Bret Hart says something funny, I'll probably go watch. But
would it be a bad idea to have a Saturday night main event the weekend before Mania?
I don't know. I think so. Maybe.
You can shoehorn some of those things in there that, like make it like a JV Mania thing, the weekend before.
Well, they usually try to do the Friday night. They do like the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which is not necessary anymore, in my opinion. So they have like a bunch of random tag matches, I assume, that won't make the fucking cut. And like maybe Chelsea Green won't have a fucking United States title match or something. I was so hoping. She said she wanted to do a hair versus something match where she would get her head shaved for WrestleMania. I just want to see her. The hair matches to me are always great. I love that shit so fucking
Didn't you want to have a hair bet with JC at one point?
I think so.
With the hair stuff.
Well, I have great hair, and so he doesn't. So it is what it is. Maybe hair versus beard, because his beard is relatively well done. Have you ever seen JC with just a mustache? By the way.
No, I haven't. I have pictures of him with no facial hair whatsoever that I use for Photoshop purposes, but I've never seen him with a mustache.
It's let's just put it that way. When I worked with him and he had the mustache, his nickname was Level 3. So
wasn't allowed within 3 miles of a Chuck E. Cheese.
That's what they called him, Level 3. So it's not pretty. So, but his beard is glorious. I'll say that much. So I envy anybody with a good beard because Daddy can't grow one, so it's fine. It is what it is. This is actually 6 days worth of not shaving. So there you go.
Jesus. Well, I'm sure they'll drop at some point for you.
Jesus Christ. A girl can dream. Anyway, anything else you want to get the fuck out of here?
No, I'm good, baby. I'm good.
All right. Well, I thank you for tagging in this week. It was super helpful. I appreciate your time and your attention to detail, nonetheless.
Someone had to save the program.
Someone had to save it because no one wants to hear me talk for an hour by myself. On that note, thank you for watching and listening to the Jobber Knocker podcast. We'll be back next week with some more Jobber Knockery.